Hey, what's up? My name is Tyson Brown and I want to welcome you to Tyson's Fitness Tips podcast. This is Australia's top health and fitness podcast to help you lose weight, look good with your shirt off, feel confident in your body, and finally achieve the goals you want with your health and fitness. So 5 days a week, I'm going to be giving you top information from myself and also from leading experts in the field so you know everything you need to do to get in the best shape of your life. From nutrition to mindset to workout, everything is covered in this podcast and you need to go nowhere else. So like I said, it's going to be 5 days a week, Monday to Friday, in your ears with quick actionable segments that you can implement straight away, because the most important thing is that you can put these things into play. Also, if you listen all the way to the end of the episode, you're going to get 2 special gifts that you can download upon listening to it. So make sure you listen all the way to the end to get those free gifts, okay? So let's get into the episode. How to lose fat faster. What is up? It's still Monday morning here. It's Friday for you. It's been a great walk this morning, getting my steps in, talking to you about creating a calorie deficit, talking to you about a bunch of topics that have been really fun to talk about. And today's topic is a bit more interesting, and it's about how can you lose fat faster. Because in the last episode, which is about dieting, I talked to you about finding a diet that you're able to adhere to, right? So whether that be keto, whether it be paleo, whether it be if it fits your macros, and then intermittent fasting combined with that, whatever it's going to be, whatever you find that if you chose, you could be, okay, I can do that every single day. When you know that, when you pick it, you're able to lose weight consistently, which is great. But there is a way that you can lose fat faster. Now, I personally don't recommend this for everyone, because some people it's going to be too much and it can lead you to going backwards. But if you're open to experimenting, it can be really beneficial because you can get your diet done in a faster period of time. Okay? So, being able to lose fat faster comes down to 2 things: calories and protein. Okay? So some people, this is not me, naturally have lower and smaller appetites. You don't think about food as much. You can skip meals without even worrying about it. You don't find yourself getting hungry during the day, and you have to tell yourself that you need to eat. If you're one of these persons, you are bloody lucky. That's all I can say, because I definitely can't do that as much as I would like to. It's just not something I think about food all the time. I get hungry constantly, and it's just like, no, that's not me. But if it is you, that's great, because what you can do is you can get in a bigger calorie deficit and lose fat faster. So if you've listened to any of my stuff, you know that I talk about putting yourself on a 500 calorie deficit a day or a 3,500 calorie deficit total for the week in order to lose fat, right? Now, how you do that is up to you, but in total, you want to lose 3,500 calories a week. You lose 1 pound or half a kilo of fat. Cool. But if you want to lose fat even faster, then you can go on a bigger calorie deficit. So you can go less, or you can go more than 500 calorie deficit a day. So let's say if you need to eat, for me, 87 kilos, I need to eat 2,500 calories a day to lose weight, right? Because I'm pretty active. I mean, I freaking record these podcasts talking to you, right? So 2,500 calories a day I need to eat to lose fat. Now, if I went to 2,000, that's now a 1,000 calorie deficit, which means in a week, that's 7,000 calorie deficit. So that's 2 pounds of fat loss a week. And for you, or 2 pounds or 1 kilo of fat loss, right? And that's a lot quicker. A kilo in a week. After 12 weeks, you lost 12 kilos. That is a lot in a short amount of time. I think if I'm right, 12 kilos is like 25 or 27 pounds or something. Like, it's a lot, right? And if you're able to consistently do that and not blow your calories out, then it's a good way for you to be able to lose weight. If you can consistently do that. And that's the biggest thing. Like, people want faster results, me included, but the question is, can you stick to that much of a deficit? Because that's a pretty rough deficit. Like, 1,000 calorie deficit a day, I only know some people who can actually stick to that. And that, like I said, they are the people who don't have big appetites. They are the people who can forget to eat. They are the people who can just skip meals like it's nothing. I feel like it doesn't affect them at all. If this is you, congratulations. You can use that to your advantage, and you can strict diet really hard. And if this is you, and you can go down that route, and you can lose fat really quickly, then go for it. If you want to make your diet short, sweet, and simple, go on a bigger deficit and do it quick. But remember, you've got to train. You've still got to train as hard as you can. If you start to notice being in too much of a deficit affects your training, and you're not as strong enough, you can't push yourself as much, you don't have energy, your NEAT, your non-exercise activity thermogenesis slows down, all these things start to happen because you're cutting too hard, then you're going to plateau pretty quickly, or you're going to end up binge eating, one or the other, and you want to avoid both of those. So that's what you got to think about. Like, can you sustain it? Can you still push yourself hard in the gym? Can you still keep up your 6,000, 8,000, 10,000, whatever steps you have? Can you still do all those things while you're in this phase? If you can make a conscious effort, and you track your steps with your Fitbit or whatever it is, or your Apple Watch, and then you still be able to push yourself hard, you're still doing progressive overload, you're doing all those things, then it's going to be fine. And the last thing you also got to focus about is, when you're doing it, you've also got to look at how much protein you're eating. Even though you're on a big calorie deficit, you still need to try and keep your protein as high as possible. I would say even up at more than 2 grams per kilo, just to play on the safe side, to make sure you're getting enough for recovery. So like maybe 2.2 grams. So that means if you're 100 kilos, instead of 200 grams, you get 220 grams of protein. Is it going to make a big difference? Honestly, I don't know, but I would rather opt in for the option of more protein than less protein if you're in a big calorie deficit. Okay? Now, like I said, take this with a grain of salt. Think about if this is you, and if you can really adhere to this. Because if you're like, yeah, I just want to lose fat as fast as possible, and you try this, and you fucking keep binging, and you end up going the opposite direction, and you put on all the weight again, that is self-inflicted because you didn't listen to yourself. You know that you can't adhere to a huge calorie deficit, and you shouldn't have done that in the first place. And that's like, for me, I can't do that. I've tried it before. I've tried tricking myself, and I really just messed it up. So that is the path that I am no longer going down, because it's just not for me. I've tried the big deficit. I was actually able to sustain it for 4 days, and then after 4 days I woke up and one day I'm like, oh, I'm just so hungry. But then I was like mentally telling myself too, I was like, nah, you know, you need energy. Like, it was just like a really weird head game that I was playing myself. And then I ended up binging and ruining my week. It actually sent me on like a 2 or 3 day binge, which is really weird because I hated that. And so you've got to think about if it's your personality or not. Are you capable of going for a short amount of time? So, you know, instead of it being a 16-week diet, can you do a 10-week diet or a 12-week or an 8-week, whatever it's going to be, and go really strict? Because if you're single, this is going to work really well if you don't have an appetite, if you're single, if you work long hours, and you just train, eat, and sleep. If you're one of those rare people who do this, who are listening to this, and you're just like, yeah, I can actually do that, like, I don't have much more of a life, I'm just going to buy simple stuff, I'm going to eat the same shit over and over again, then you're setting yourself up for really, really good fat loss. Like, you might be one of those people who can do that. But if you can't, and you feel like, oh, maybe, like, you know, if you're questioning it, give it a go, see how you go. But don't beat yourself up if you can't, because that's just fast results, right? This is just for people who want really quick results. And while I used to not be an advocate of it, the research shows different, which is why I'm open to it, which is why I want to teach it to you. But this is not the end all be all. Like, this should not be your aim to lose it as fast as possible if you can't do it. Because if you're trying to force yourself to eat in such a calorie deficit and you keep going back and forth, up and down, jumping, then it's not beneficial for you. So don't get in that mindset. And even if you don't go in 1,000 calorie deficit a week, if you can go from 500, if you can stick to 700 calorie deficit a week, even if that helps a little bit extra, if that makes that 12 weeks into 10 weeks, or if that makes that 16 weeks into 12 weeks, that's also gonna help. So you can lose fat faster. It really does come down to personal preference. Think about what you're suited to. Try different deficits, see which one works for you. Can you go really strict? Do you have to go to 500? Can you go to 700? The choice is yours. So I hope that was helpful. That is me done for the day. I'm getting to the main traffic, and I'll speak to you next time.
Hey, thanks for listening to the podcast. I really appreciate it. So now you've listened all the way to the end. That means you get some free goodies. So what you can do is you've got two different options, or you can take them both. I've got an intermittent fasting cheat sheet and a high protein 20 recipe meal guide designed specifically for you in your situation. These meal plans and this intermittent fasting guide is designed to help you burn stubborn belly fat and get in the best shape of your life. So all you have to do is go to the show notes, click on the download link, and they'll get sent straight to your email address. It's as simple as that. They're completely free. They're going to help you transform your body. So go to the show notes now and download your free guides, and I'll speak to you in the next episode.